Okay. Hi. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Prof. Nandan. It's me, Wenda Kakerissa. And today I'm going to share with you about James Dean Brown's point of view about the elements of language curriculum, chapter 6. Here is the outline of my presentation. So in this book, Brown said that there are 4 ways a language program through its curriculum can assist teachers in their job, that is teaching. They are, the first one is orienting teachers to the new curriculum. The second is supporting their teaching efforts. The third is monitoring instruction. And the last one is providing ways for teachers to revitalize themselves. Let's talk about them one by one. The first one is about orienting and involving teachers in the curriculum. We have to know what Brown called as initial information. So initial information that teachers get is an important part of the teaching element of curriculum development. Such initial information can take the form of an orientation meeting during which the basic information needed to perform adequately can be conveyed to teachers or be delivered in the form of a written teacher's guide or both. Now let's talk about orientation. Orientation here means orientation meeting. So orientation meeting might consist of nothing more than 1 hour get together during which the teachers are given the basic information they will need to accomplish their jobs. A half-day series of workshops complete with tours of relevant building and facilities might be more effective also. Another alternative is retreat to some attractive sites where teachers can not only be provided with vital information, but can also get to know each other and other program personnel. Curriculum planners must provide some mechanism for communicating information to new teachers, as well as for periodically disseminating information to all continuing staff. And let's talk about teacher's guide. So it is a good idea for planners or administrators to prepare a handy guide or a handbook containing all vital program information so that the new teachers can refer to it when they have questions. A teacher's guide has the added benefit of saving administrators, curriculum developers, and secretarial staff from being asked numbingly repetitious questions by the new teachers. That is about a teacher's guide. And next is still about orienting and involving teachers in the curriculum. The last part is reference documents. So other types of documents may serve as useful references for new teachers. For example, in addition to the teacher's guide, copies of any needs analysis document might prove interesting to the teachers, particularly those documents that apply to the same course or skill area to which they have been assigned. Teachers should also receive copies of the relevant course objectives and any first-day handouts that have been used in the past to describe the courses. And teachers naturally should also have copies of all the materials that will be used in their classes. A language program should have its own professional library of books, journals, and other materials. Next, it's about types of information teachers need. Actually, there are some of the possible types of questions that teachers might need to have answered. These questions are arranged into some categories. There are 5 categories, and they are context of the problem, learners, teachers, administrative process, and the last one is instruction. So let's talk a little bit about them one by one. First, it is context of the problem. For all language programs, useful information might include a description of the institution itself, its resources, and the administrators, teachers, and learners involved. Additional information might be provided on the curriculum development stages that have already taken place. This kind of information is fundamental since no program can be planned or thought in a vacuum. So curriculum developers might consider providing teachers with answers to questions about the program, such as in the 7 questions I put in my my slides. You may see by yourself. So let's see the first one. The first question is, to what extent is the program consistent with federal, state, and local government policies? The second, is there a generally felt need for this kind of program, or is it being imposed on teachers and learners from above? The third, can the school curriculum support changes in student behavior of the kind that are expected? The fourth is, will opportunities be arranged for articulating the theoretical approach of the program to education officials, teachers, trainers, teachers, learners, parents, and other interested parties? And the other 3 you may see in the slide by yourself. Next is, the second is about learners. A program designed for very young children, for example, will necessarily require a different approach from one design for adults, right? Or other different background, of course. Hence, any language program must take into account learner considerations, such as answers to such questions. Answers to such questions will provide information about the degree to which the learners form a heterogeneous to homogeneous group. The kinds of problems that curriculum planners and teachers are likely to face, and some notion of the learner's expectation. So these are the questions in the slides. You may see in the slides. So the question number 1, for example, who will the program serve? The second, how many learners will the program serve? The third, what is their educational and cultural background? The fourth, what are their previous language learning experience? The fifth, what circumstances have led them to enter the program? Or you may also ask, are there any positive or negative side effects resulting from how they have entered the program? and the other 5 you may see in my slide. And then let's see the third is the teachers. So teachers are also interested in fellow teachers. Now, the curriculum planners will have gathered information, important information about the kinds of teachers the program depends on. Teachers may differ in their individual teaching skills, in their attitude toward teaching, in how they teach, in the demands that can be made on them, and so forth. Teachers might need to answer the following questions. So, for example, question number 1. What teaching skills do the teachers have? Is it listening, speaking, reading or writing? And the second, are the teachers native speakers of the language that they are teaching? If not, what is their proficiency level? So, proficiency level here is very important for a teacher if she or he is going to teach the students. And then what expectations are teachers likely to have concerning the approaches, syllabuses, techniques, and exercises? And the fourth is, are there any conflicting sets of expectations among teachers? And the other 4 you may see in my slides. So, okay. The fourth is administrative process. Teachers might also need information about the administration of the program. Do you agree with me? The information on the administrative process can be very complex. So those in charge of introducing new teachers to a program need to provide information about these processes to help new teachers avoid or at least minimize mistakes later. So the following are questions that might be usefully be answered about administration. Okay, the first one is, how many teachers are needed to staff the program? What kind of teachers are selected? How many different kinds of teachers are required? What other kinds of personnel are involved? For example, administrative, secretarial, or so on. And the third is, what provisions are made for teachers training or retraining? What provisions are made for teachers to develop curriculum and material? How are teachers monitored and evaluated, and etc. You may see in my slides. And then the last one is instruction. So another category of information that may prove useful will describe the types of instruction that have been adopted in the program, of course, and how best to implement them. Kinds of questions to be answered are, the first one, something like, what overall approaches has been adopted? How can these overall approaches be characterized? Does the program have a particular emphasis? Is the program a special purposes program, a vocational program, an academic program, a competency-based program, or one based on a set of general proficiency guidelines, and etc. And then now let's talk about the second way. The second way is supporting teachers. A successful curriculum will provide much more in teacher support, of course. Such support may take the form of helping the teachers to understand their place in the curriculum, face-to-face or face-to-face students, helping them to think about their own teaching, providing a framework of administrative and curricular support, or providing means for dealing with the inevitable politics that will emerge in any language program. So there are 4 points in talking about supporting teachers. They are, the first one is the teachers and students' place in the curriculum. The second is helping teachers to teach. The third is providing a framework of support. And the last one will be dealing with politics. So let's discuss one by one. The teachers and students' place in the curriculum. So teaching is usually regarded as something that teachers do in order to bring about change in learners, right? And a central component of teaching is how teachers view their place in the process of teaching. Brown stated that there are some roles teachers could play in the classroom activity, such as teacher can be needs analyst. Teachers can be provider of student input, motivator, organizer and controller of student behavior, demonstrator of accurate language production, materials developer, monitor of students' learning, and the last one, teachers can be counselor or a friend maybe. And what about the learners play in the curriculum? So the place of learners in the curriculum will relate to their preferences with regard to concepts such as learning approaches, attitude towards learning, learning styles, strategies used in learning activities, patterns of interaction, degree of learners' control over their own learning, and what constitutes effective teaching. And the last one is the nature of effective learning. The next is helping teachers to teach. So, on the basis of the background, training, experience, teachers will determine what techniques and exercises to use in setting up the learning experiences that they believe will best help bring about learning. So teachers should continually think about and discuss questions as teaching issues. Teachers should continually think and discuss teaching issues so that the assumptions that guide their teaching will always be clear to them. Wheeling, 1985, suggests a number of exercises that enable teachers to explore these issues. For example, teachers may discuss questions as you can see in the slides. For example, suppose a total stranger walked in and observed one of your classes. What aspects of your teaching style would give the person clues as to your basic personality? Or what aspects of your teaching style might mislead that same person about your true personality? Or what does best in your class? Who does best in your classes? How would you describe a typical excellent learner for the sort of teaching you do? Or have you ever gone through a major change of teaching style? It is from Willing. And only the teacher who is daily contact with the learners, their students, will have any hope of creating an atmosphere in the classroom and selecting techniques and exercises that will maximize learning among these diverse learners. Next is about providing a framework of support. So Brown in this book argued that a systematic curriculum provides teachers with the kinds of support they need. And such support could be the form of administrative support and curricular support. The first one is administrative support. So a curriculum in which the administrators view teachers' job as supporting the teachers will be a curriculum in which the teachers are in the better position to do good job of teaching. In turn, these administrators can help most by providing the teachers with buffers between them and negative aspect of the world outside the program. By what? By eliminating all unnecessary paperwork and by ensuring that all required resources are available for the teachers to deliver instruction and to continue developing themselves professionally. And then the teacher's job is actually to teach, right? But classroom activities by themselves generate large amount of record keeping and paperwork. So type of administrative support involves ensuring that all reasonable resources be provided to the teachers. What about the curricular support? So things like needs assessment, goals and objectives, testing, materials, teaching, and program evaluation can all be supported by sound curriculum development process that are designed to make the individual teacher's job easier. Yeah, the more this process draw on the combined energies of the entire staff, teachers and administrators alike, the more effective and indeed supportive the processes will be. And next is dealing with politics. So it is specifically talking about curriculum implementation. Brown in this book suggested some general guidelines so that curriculum developers can increase their chances of avoiding resistance and calamitous problems in implementing a program. They are something like involve all the participants in the process of curriculum development, avoid taking the position of an omniscient expert who knows who is good for the program, make only reasonable demands on the time and energy of the people involved. Remember that any group of people may be entranced and resistant to change. Avoid making people feel threatened or defensive. And remember that the teachers may have been absolutely independent and all-powerful in their classroom until the curriculum started changing around them. The next is try not to threaten the turf staked out by the administrator. And the last one is remember that much more can be accomplished through discussion and compromise than through dictated policy decisions and inflexibility. So the systematic approach to curriculum can facilitate political processes, but will never replace them. Only through cooperation and compromise, curriculum can be implanted. And then, if this is properly done, the politics of ongoing program management discussed next will be considerably easier. Okay, so this one is about program management. So Brown said in this book that curriculum development processes are never finished. They are perpetually ongoing and evolving. Pennington, 1983, page 30 to 31, has pointed to the following as program characteristics that administrators should foster. So they are, the first one is to provide a good quality instruction, means an objective shared with ESL teachers, maintain high standards, have well-defined testable objectives, have systematic and consistent placement and advancement of students. The second is to have everything run smoothly. It should we must avoid frequent major changes, devise a curriculum which is easy to implement, and the third is please supervisors, teachers, students, and themselves. So please them. And the next is monitoring teachers. Yeah, this is about monitoring teachers. So monitoring teachers' performance in the classroom can be a way of bolstering their efforts. And teachers could be monitored through finding out what is good teaching, observation, students' evaluation. So let's talk about them one by one. So what is good teaching? Brown owned 3 categories to describe good teaching. They are consistent instruction, relevant instruction, and efficient instruction, that for him are very similar to the characteristics of good test, namely reliability, validity, and usability. The first one is consistent instruction. It is the first of the qualities important to sound language teaching. The result of the learning process in a program should be consistent over time and between sections of the same course. For instance, imagine that a program wherein the instruction was very effective but only some of the time, or a pair of sections of the same course that are supposedly alike, but that have teachers who deliver completely different result. And the second is relevant instruction. So it is the second crucial characteristics of sound instruction. The relevancy of a program's instructions can be defined as the degree to which a program delivers what it claims to be offering, as well as the degree to which what it is producing reflects sound language teaching practice. For example, just consider a course designed to teach conversational English for social purposes, for example. If monitoring reveals that the instruction is focused on grammatical structures, the monitor might legitimately question the relevancy of the curriculum because the course doesn't appear to be delivering on its stated purpose. And the next is what we call it as efficient instruction. So it is the last important characteristics that should be fostered by a program curriculum. So the concern of this instruction is that a program be practical. Clearly, if given an infinite amount of time and unlimited resources, any program could teach students to a level of almost native proficiency in any language. In the real world, language program don't have unlimited time or resources. So efficiency must be considered an important characteristics of teaching. So this instruction, the last one, can be broken down into subcategories. There are two categories. The first one is program efficiency and the second is instructional efficiency. So let's move to the next slides. I'm sorry. It's about observation. So observation here means classroom observation as a means of supporting teachers. A classroom observation is any situation in which the teacher is being observed for whatever reason in the act of teaching. The observation may be the purposes of helping teachers grow, for needs analysis, for research, or for teacher performance evaluation. So the teacher wants to evaluate his or her performance in the classroom. So the purpose of any classroom observation should be clearly explained before it happens, right? There are the most three common types of observation in the institution according to Brown: administrator observation, peer observation, and self-observation. Brown also added his comment on the importance of the feedback. So, administrator observation, administrators must recognize that the teacher is probably nervous because of the professional importance of the observation. Peer observation, helping to monitor teachers, contributes to the professional development of both the observer and the teacher. And self-observation, conducting observation via a video camera rather than in the person of an administrator or a peer. And the last one is feedback. Feedback is the single most important influence on the quality of any observation experience. Oh, I'm so sorry, it's too many. And students evaluation. Let's talk a little bit about students evaluation. So it's about students evaluation. One excellent source of information for monitoring the classroom performance of teachers on a day-to-day basis is provided by students. Yes. So the information thus obtained probably offers a closer reflection of the normal operation in the classroom than information obtained during a formal observation. However, such information must be weighted carefully, for it presents the point of view of a biased group, that is, student. And the next is course evaluation forms. So, course evaluation forms, usually done as questionnaires, are probably the most efficient and common way of obtaining students' feedback on courses and teaching. However, a number of dangers must be guarded against when such questionnaires are used, such as evaluating too many different courses with one form, addressing too many issues on one questionnaire, attempting to be too empirical, and so on. So the first problem, okay. That's all. And then what about the interview? The interview teaching can also be monitored through formal and informal interviews. To do this, there would probably have to to be some individuals, teachers or administrators, or a committee that has responsibility for fielding students' complaints and suggestions that arise in this manner. And the last is students representative meetings. So it's very important also. Another source of information on the quality of the teaching in a program is students representative meeting. In the system, a student representative from each class is elected by fellow students to represent them in regular meeting held with program administrators. At these meetings, administrators can get a general sense of students' satisfaction with the instructions going on in the institution. So the information gathered face-to-face like this allows those in charge of the process to ask any questions that might help clarify what they are hearing and help them to interpret the general mood. And I think that's this one is the last point. It's about revitalizing teachers. There are only 2 points here. It's about teacher burnout and growing as a teacher. So teacher burnout here means the exhaustion that results from excessive drain on a person's energy and resources because of the overwhelming problems. Victims of burnout feel frustrated and cynical about their work and gradually lose their effectiveness on the job. There are 3 main causes for burnout. They are stress, frustration, and low status. And the last one from revitalizing teachers is growing as a teacher. It means that teacher must adopt positive attitudes toward their subject matter, their students, their colleagues, the program, and themselves. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you so much. If you have comments or suggestions, you may give it to me via WhatsApp group. Thank you.